Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'd like to give you an update on our winter sowing project. We're going to start with that because the sun is currently out, and in 5 minutes we have a 95% chance of snow warning, which I kind of believe because it's been spitting snow since this morning, but when the sun's out it feels pretty nice. We're then going to go to the Hartley to repot a couple of things, and then I think we're going to end up back in this greenhouse because I need to do some organizing. It's getting to be a mess in there. Anyway, here are the winter sowing jugs. We have 19 of them out here with just a random assortment of things: delphiniums, larkspur, columbine, verbascum, eggplant, poached eggplant, feverfew, what is that, nigella. And there was a video when we put all of these together and got the seeds planted. Basically, with winter sowing, anytime in the winter you can plant them and put them outside. These have been buried in snow, these have had rain. I haven't watered them once, not one time. And they are on the east side of this greenhouse right here, which does protect them from the brunt of our wind. We had a super windy day yesterday, but none of them have even tipped over. So that's great. Anyway, let's take a look at some of them. So we're just going to look inside the jugs that have some green in them. This is Delft Blue Nigella. It's a cool season flower and lots of action in there. I'm super happy. There's nothing going on in these though. That was our Nigella. This one right here, we've got some lupin. Oh, look at those. And right in front of that one, we have the poached eggplant. It's not an eggplant like the vegetable or fruit. I don't know which one that where you categorize that. This is a flower that looks like a poached egg. I'm so excited. And this one, I'm not sure if you can see the little itty bitty green in there, but there is a couple. This is the verbascum. And then we've got Bellstar broccoli looking awesome. Little leaf in there. And then this is the last one that has plants, or a plant. That's a delphinium right there. Little baby one. Isn't that awesome? I just love that you can put them together, set them outside, and really not have to worry about them at all. And they come up when they're ready to come up, and then they're really strong seedlings in the end when you plant them out. So I'm just really happy with that. Now we are going to repot Eugenia cones that I picked up when Aaron and I were in Boise one day, and they've just been sitting in their plastic containers, so they are ready for some new pretty pots. All right, I think we've got everything we need. We've got our containers. These are the Garland Jardinières, I think that's what they're called, from Unique Stone. We've got our potting mix right here and our Eugenia cones, which aren't they pretty? They're starting to push new growth, which is making me very, very happy. Because for a while there, I started to feel like they were Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Every time I'd touch them, little leaves would fall off. But I learned that Eugenias are part of the myrtle family, which kind of opened my eyes to what kind of care they need. And here, to keep myrtles happy, I have to water them almost on a daily basis. Like these, water every day. And this one, which I've had for the longest, I water probably every other day, I want to say. This one's a little bit larger container, and it's kind of fallen into a nice rhythm. Looks beautiful. I just figured these, with how big their nursery containers are and how cool-ish it stays in here, especially through the colder part of the winter, I thought they were going to be retaining a lot more moisture. I just watered these yesterday, and if you feel the soil, it feels like I haven't watered these in like a week. They're so just bone dry. So I think the pot up into a bigger container with some good potting mix around their root system, I think they're going to really like it. And these might be something I move outside during the summertime and bring in the winter. We'll just see how they do in here. In the summer, with this greenhouse, we do open both sets of doors. So we have a set right there, and then a set right in front of me, and then there are 4 windows, and we have all of those open. We have fans running, so it's kind of just this open air building for the summer. So they might just do great here, but we're going to keep our eye on them. But I'm looking forward to this, so let's get these done. Oh my goodness, this soil is heavy. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a nice sized drain hole at the bottom. We're going to put a little layer of fresh soil in first. Oh my, that's going to get a nice drink right from the gate. This soil is so wet. Okay, and now I'm going to try to ease this plant out of its container. Pretty good. We're going to use this as our planting guide here. Oh, look at that. Perfect size hole for this root ball. I don't really feel like I need to rough up the root system very much, but it is so dry. I cannot believe how fast it dries out. Look at that. You just nest the root ball right down in there, and I'm going to fill it up with just a tiny bit more. It's perfect. Doesn't that look awesome? I love it. Oh, it fits perfect. Yes. Put a little water in. Yeah, nice. And there they are, all done. Don't they look so much better than sitting there in their black nursery containers? They've been sitting like that for a couple of months. Oh, I should have done this earlier. We probably would have avoided a lot of leaf shed had we done it earlier. Also, it does look a little lopsided because I've got the plant stand right here, which I could swing around the corner, I suppose. But we don't use both doors unless we're bringing in something big, which is rare. I think the last time we had both of them open, maybe it was when we took the center plant stand out for the Christmas tree, which we could bring in again. But yeah, this one's always locked for the most part, and we just come in and out through this door here, so it really is a clear walkway. And I always want to be really careful about not putting too much stuff around this table because I want it to be very usable and very comfortable, and I don't want it to feel like you're going to brush up against or knock over a plant at any point. I do need to empty out our vacuum. This is our little vacuum that we use in here. It's got attachments and everything, but I filled it up today. Empty it right into this. All right, well, we're done with our job in here, so we can head to the greenhouse and start doing some cleanup and organizing. I'm also gonna call baloney on the whole snow warning. Sun is shining, it's beautiful, I love it. Okay, here we go, into the mess. Oh. Hey, Russell. What are you doing? Okay, first off, you'll notice that I haven't taken my ranunculus down to our basement yet. It's been a couple of days. I put some hardware cloth or chicken wire over some of them and some empty saucers that I had over others so that the cats wouldn't use them. And we'll see if they end up in the basement or not. You're supposed to do the pre-sprouting process at like 50 to 55 degrees. Last year, though, I think I did it out here, and it was okay. Even though it got fairly warm in here during the day, I think it just speeds them up even faster, which I don't think that that would be a horrible thing, and it will save us 12 trips downstairs and then 12 trips back upstairs with the flats of corms. Anyway, I've got the iris right here. Do you remember when we planted those? Was it December maybe? We put them in here and they're looking so awesome. I cannot wait to see blooms. And then we've got a fig right here that's dormant, but it is pushing some buds here. Does this every single year. I need to weed the pot. We've got some geraniums I need to groom up just a little bit. But then right over here, this becomes my kind of heap of things. You know, fertilizer. There's an empty water jug. We could throw another winter sowing thing out there. There's bubbles for Samantha. I need to cut back our olive tree again. It defoliated and now it's pushing new leaves again. And then I just end up with a menagerie of stuff. empty containers, which today we're going to be potting up some more of our geranium seedlings. This I need to move into the Hartley. You may have noticed that I still have our Valentine's dried flower ornaments up, and this I'm meant to put in there right after. We can enjoy that through Easter. And then we've got plants and things and seeds. I need to put these back in the studio. Things that I could organize a little bit better than they are organized now. We can take this to the chicken coop. That's the cabbage that we dug out of the containers in Versailles last fall. It's actually blooming beautifully right now. Look at that. You could cut that off and use it in a flower arrangement. This right here was from a fairy garden last year. Remember that one? We did it some dried gourds with dried flowers and little fairy garden pieces. I had these little sweet daffodils which have come up this winter and bloomed. They're already starting to cycle out. We've got our artichokes, which I need to groom up a bit, but they're which is super fun. We've got hellebores looking beautiful. Heuchera pushing brand new fresh leaves. Oh, I love it. Our citrus are doing really well. I still have some lemons on this one. This is one of our avocado trees. Now, I don't know if this little one has survived. It doesn't look super great, but the stem is still green and pliable, so I'm just kind of leaving it alone because the big one immediately looked horrible when we got it out of the box. I mean, all the leaves were looking just like they look right now. But if you look close at this thing, it's got buds just ready to burst and brand new leaves, even down here. So we're just gonna wait on these things and see what happens. I've got a calla lily. This is one of the containers we put together last winter, so I need to groom this up. Fun to see a fresh bloom on it. And then all of our ivy, which I was working on separating when we did our ivy wreath topiary, and just, plants that we need to organize, spread out, groom up. The kids' little sandbox area, which they use pretty hard. I'll probably just tidy it up and leave them right where they're at. Also, you'll see some seedlings that I have moved from our studio. These are Lysianthus right here. This is the Voyage 2 white, and these are the Mariachi white. I need to separate these. I'm not going to do that for all of my seedlings. Like, these are snapdragons right here. These I'm just going to thin and discard the thinned out seedlings. But these, which are harder to get to the end stage, I want to save. So I will be separating those at some point. I thought I saw fungus gnats or a whiff of a fungus gnat, so I put these in here. There's nothing. That's just a little piece of dirt. That makes me very happy to see. Oh, there's one. We caught one gnat. I've been using the Natrol. It's spelled Gnatrol, and I feel like that's been giving me the best results for fungus gnats. I don't really deal with them in here as much as I do in the studio, but I feel like out here I'm not using it at all. In the studio, I pretty much use it every time I water. I just keep a little cup of it next to my watering can. I don't use it in my mister because I don't want to clog up the mister, but once my trays have graduated to watering can sort of watering, then they get natural every time, and I feel like that's the only way I can keep the fungus gnats at bay. And if I notice any activity, I do bust these out because they will catch some of the adults and they are helpful. But so far, we're managing okay on the fungus gnat front. But I would like to get as many of our little geraniums repotted today as possible. Because if we pop these out, they're looking pretty good. But I'd still like to get them bumped up because these are getting pretty thick and they'll stay healthier if we can keep airflow a priority. So I think where we need to start is by organizing tabletops, just getting everything groomed, lined up nicely in a way that we can easily water everything and create more space in the whole process to put some of our seedling trays. I actually have another tray of snapdragons I need to bring out here from the studio. So anyway, let's just get into this and see what we can get done. And here it is all done. We got 24 more geraniums potted. We got stuff moved out. Everything's been groomed. And while the ranunculus and the sandboxes don't look super tidy, they're both temporary. It just feels good to have like this space clear and this space organized. I'm so much more productive in a tidy space, and when things are put where I think they are going to be, so I don't spend time looking for supplies and things like that, it just, let's walk through it. Not much different right here, except for I did groom up the geraniums. I weeded the fig pot. It's actually got some branches I can cut and root. You can see them coming out right here. We rooted them last year, and they actually produced figs on what we rooted last year, and I'm going to cut this one off that's cruising straight down. It's perfect. And then we got the olive all cut back. It looks so much better, and you can really see all of the new growth coming out. And we had to do this, was it last winter? And I even cut it back more severe than this, and it got massive. So it really is kind of a good way to size control it. This space right here is looking tidier. I just have a humidity dome that's kind of become like my catch-all. I use this stuff all the time. There's a diffuser that I actually need to clean, soak in vinegar because it's so crusted in hard water. But I use this on seedlings most of the time because it's got a really soft spray. I've got plant tags, my garden marker. I've got fertilizers. This is what I use on my seedlings right here. This had some vermiculite in it. I've got a couple saucers. And then with my potting tray, when I'm not using it, especially if I have leftover soil like this, I'll still use that soil to pot up more geraniums. But I don't want the cats to use it either. So I usually scoot it all to the back and then lay these watering cans on it, and it keeps the cats out. Here's our snapdragons, the 2 flats. I need to go get my third one. Left some space right here. We've got the Lysianthus. We'll move this into the Hartley here shortly. And then I left this little space clear because I work on this table all the time. It's nice to have supplies just right where I can reach them. We've got Benjamin's beans that he started inside. Look at this. They actually have little beans on them. They're so cute. And he planted a maple seed in here. One of those little helicopters, so we'll see what happens. He's very excited about it. And then we've just got a menagerie of beautiful things. Beautiful blooms, beautiful plants. We've got herbs that are looking so happy. A couple different kinds of thyme. We've got lavender. We've got a chair in here. Comes in very handy. And then oregano, parsley, some really sweet dianthus called Pink Kisses. Beautiful pink cyclamen. Here's our Crispino iceberg lettuce, starting to put on some size. This is our second crop of radishes in this windowsill planter. We've got the iris we potted up back here. I did groom up the geraniums, moved a lot of these things from the other side to this side. We've got a spearmint plant right here, or just regular mint, can't remember. Groomed up the artichokes. They needed it horribly bad. They are such water babies too. They look, for some reason, they look like a plant that wouldn't want a lot of water. False. They like a ton of water. Not when they're outside though. They're kind of like rosemary to me. Rosemary, when I have it as a houseplant, I have to water it all the time, but if it's outside, I don't have to water it as often. I kind of scooted things around just a little bit so that I could access this back table, and I just groomed some of these things. These are the Dusty Miller that came out of the pots in Versailles last fall. We've got some Brunnera in here. I groomed up our stick of an avocado. Actually looks better than it did before, and it's all green. So it's green. We'll see what happens. I was noticing that our lemon, this is a pink lemonade lemon. So it's got the variegated leaves, and then the inside of the lemons is kind of a pink blush, but it's got a bunch of new growth and buds all over on it, which is very exciting. We've got 2 very sleepy kitties in here right now. Here's Cheddar. Hi, Cheddar. You want some loves? And then we have Russell right over here. Hey, Russell. Hey. Oh, yeah. You were out, weren't you? Groomed up the calla lily. It's looking a lot better. I went ahead and took off those dangly, wilty looking leaves off the avocado, and it's looking quite a lot more I don't know what it's looking like. We'll see. This was a faith in planting project to begin with. Anyway, got all the ivy here, most of which are separated. Like if I lifted one out, I hate to say that because it's probably going to be connected to something else. Oh no, look at that, see? Most of them you can freely move about. Then we've got another lavender. This was part of a Christmas arrangement that came out here. I let it dry out inside so the rosemary kind of doesn't look awesome. We've got the Lonicera topiaries, which we moved from the Hartley. They were doing fairly decent in there, but then they started to leaf drop really bad. But they are pushing a ton of new growth. So we'll probably see them fill out here in the next couple of months. These are the phloxodreniums we planted today. And then all the rest of them. I wonder how many we have left. I know we've got these two little babies. And then we've got these two flats. This one has 72 in it. And then this one looks like this is half, so 36. And then 7 more. 42 plus 72. Is that 114? 42 plus 72, right? Yeah, I need that many more pots. So I need to get after some spring planting so I can use some of these 4-inch pots. Then I'll show you what the gator looks like after I get done. I've got a pile over here, and then I've got a pile right here. So typically I save a lot of things. Oh, I found this. It was under the arrangement, the Christmas arrangement with the rosemary. So we can go put this underneath the pot that we just potted earlier. But I've got just a whole bunch of supplies in here. I just need to go put them where they go, extra containers. There's a little bit of garbage, but not a lot. Some part bags of fertilizer. That's just a chore I have to do I'd say during the growing season, like once a month would be ideal if I could come through here and just kind of organize what I've got going on in here. And it makes the space just feel so much better. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today. I think we got quite a lot done. I actually did the studio earlier this morning, so the studio is looking really good. Let me show you. It probably won't make much of a difference since you didn't see the before shot, but it was bad. I feel like we just did that one too. So earlier today, there was stuff everywhere. There was like 8 cardboard boxes full of stuff. The whole tabletop, I couldn't even set anything down on. I couldn't set anything down on the garbage can. There were plants on the floor right here. There was debris everywhere. There was a fairy garden land set up right here. The kids just had it everywhere. Every once in a while you have to regroup and start over. So cleaned the floor in here, got everything tidied up. It just feels so good. Anyway, it just makes me so excited to start new projects when we've got kind of a blank slate and everything's tidy, just in time to make it a mess again. So that's it for today's project, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.